Hello, this is Kelly Shepard. I'm coming to you from BreatheEasyWheezy.com. That sounds so salesman-y. Anyway, today I thought that you might want to learn from your favorite registered respiratory therapist and certified asthma educator the difference between the two main categories of lung disease. There is obstructive lung disease and there is restrictive lung disease. So let's kind of talk about that. If you have lung disease, the more you know, the better the conversations you can have with your doctor, your nurse, your respiratory therapist, anybody who's involved in your care. And that's really important. It's important for us to have really good conversations and to get what the doctor's saying or the nurse or the RT or whoever's working with you. And if they ever use fancy words on you, I really encourage you to be like, yo, dude, I did not understand that fancy lingo right there. Can you please explain to me what interstitial means? Okay, or whatever. If they're idiopathic, if they're using any kind of fancy lingo, I want you to ask them, because a lot of times doctors, nurses, respiratory care practitioners, we get used to using those terms, and sometimes we forget, like, not everybody else speaks Latin. So today we're going to talk about the difference between the two. So COPD, that's a term we hear a lot. That's really an umbrella term. COPD covers cystic fibrosis, bronchitis, asthma, bronchiectasis, and emphysema. That's a lot. And then we have restrictive lung diseases like interstitial lung disease, pulmonary fibrosis, or idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. So what's the difference between obstructive and restrictive? We have to play pretend. Nobody in this house will give me a rubber band because they're scared I'm going to shoot my eye out. So we're going to play pretend like we got a rubber band. Wait a minute. I think I might have one. Hold that thought. I got one. I got a big one. Okay, so when we have obstructive lung disease, our lungs have plenty of compliance. So when we breathe in, our lungs comply. They accept that air. And then when we exhale, our lungs should snap back to their original shape. They should have recoil or elasticity. When you have COPD, cystic fibrosis, bronchitis, asthma, bronchiectasis, or emphysema, or if you're really lucky, you might have a combination. No, that's not lucky at all. Dang. But you can have multiple lung diseases occurring at the same time. This is why I would encourage you, if you have lung disease, that you see a pulmonologist, because they're going to order the correct testing for you. And they know the newest of the new. They know all of the best medications for your particular lung disease and the newest treatments for it. Cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff, one of which is called endobronchial valves. And we'll talk about that in another episode because I'm so excited about those. Anyway, so obstructive lung disease, we have compliance, but we have lost our elasticity. So what that means is our airways tend to collapse on themselves. And when they collapse on themselves, they trap carbon dioxide. What? Yes, I said it. Carbon dioxide. CO2, baby. I know you can handle the word. I know you can. I hear a lot of people go, stale air. Whatever. Just tell them what it is. It's not stale air. It's carbon dioxide. You're trapping carbon dioxide inside of your lung. And this is why it's important. Carbon dioxide can change the acidity, also known as the pH, of your blood. And any of you guys out there that have ever gardened, you know if your soil is too acidic, nothing's going to grow in it. And if your soil is too alkaline, nothing's going to grow in it. You need that sweet spot. And when we trap carbon dioxide in our bloodstream, we're making our blood acidic. So what does that do? That kind of like poisons our vital organs. No bueno. We don't want that. right? That's not good. Okay, and then idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis and interstitial lung disease, restrictive lung diseases, they don't have compliance. They have a hard time. They try to breathe in and their lungs are stiff. They won't comply. They don't want to accept that air. So they have a hard time getting their air in, but they have plenty of recoil. It snaps right back into shape. So they have elasticity and a lack of compliance. We have to deal with these differently. There's going to be similar things in how we deal with the lung diseases, but really, and this is where your pulmonologist comes in handy. They're going to recommend different therapies and different medications for those. They really call for different medications. So once again, if you have any kind of lung disease, I want you to look into getting a pulmonologist. And if you never had a pulmonary function test, get one. Get one. Get one. My biggest pet peeve as a respiratory therapist is somebody who's been diagnosed and they have not had a pulmonary function test. What the heck do we know we're dealing with unless we see the numbers? We've got to have data. We got to have data. And pulmonary function tests, those guys are really cool. I should do a whole video about that. I'm going to write that down now. Anyway, that's enough from your favorite registered respiratory therapist. I almost flubbed that. And certified asthma educator, Kelly Shepard. I will see you next time right here on Breathe Easy Wheezy YouTube.